today I'm going to try to multitask, and I'm going to be working on these, well, to no one's surprise, another pair of socks, while also talking about the best books I read in 2022 and 2023. Some of these books, it's been a while since I read, but I've chosen the ones that I noted down were the best books, as well as being ones I remember. So some of them I have reread since I read them. But yeah, I guess let's just go. And we'll start with 2022. So that was back when I could still read print books. I'll leave a link in the description if you're wondering why I'm not reading print books right now. But yeah, in 2022 I could. So the first one on my list is one I read in print. It's called Women in the Middle Ages, and it's written by Francis and Joseph Gies, Gies, so two French dudes. It's a bit ironic or weird to have two French people writing about medieval women, but they're really good. They're really good at writing historical source material in an appealing, compelling way, and they're good at finding primary sources. So this is a non-fiction book about life as a medieval woman with for the higher up echelons of society. There's actually primary sources, and they're basing it on one singular person, and further down among the peasants and the merchant people, it's more of a sort of generalized based on what we have in court records and stuff, because many of them didn't write, and so you don't get their story from their mouth, as it were. I found it really, really fascinating and really interesting, and I just find it so fun when I'm reading a non-fiction book and all I want to do is go back to that non-fiction book. And that was the way it was with this book. I was just like, when can I read more? So I remember lying in bed in the Viking village back in 2022, reading this book in the evening by torchlight. So yeah, it's a really good book. And I kind of want to read more books by the Gies brothers, but they're not really very widely available, and definitely not in audiobook. The next one is 21 Love Poems by a woman called Adrienne Rich. Now, it's been a while, but as far as I remember, this is a lesbian woman, and so she's writing poems about her love for a woman, and it's all the phases of a relationship. It's all from just meeting and the blossoming on first love, and all the way through missing your loved one when they're away on holiday, and also just living everyday life with your loved one. It was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. And this is, as far as I remember, oh no, I don't have this in my notes, but as far as I remember, this is the woman who wrote A Compulsory Heterosexuality, which is a non-fiction piece about how growing up in a heteronormative society affects lesbian young women and not so young women, it's often touted as like, it's often thought of as the basis of like compulsory heterosexuality is like that idea that young people can feel, or like that people can feel sort of confined to the idea of being heterosexual. But yeah, she's sort of the coiner of the phrase, and I wanted to read more about her, and I found out she had poetry, and that poetry was really good. So that's basically it. I'm sorry if I rambled, and I'm sorry if this was wrong. I try my best. Yeah, the next book is another non-fiction book. It's called A Short History of Black Holes. It's written by Dr. Becky Smethurst, who has a YouTube channel where she explains astrophysics, basically, and like night sky news and that kind of thing. So the audiobook, which I read this in audio. The audiobook is read by the author herself, and it's really engaging and really fascinating. And I found that I could actually like understand the concepts, and they were really well explained, and I was having a good time listening to that on a road trip that I went on. I'm glad that Buddha didn't settle in my lap. That would have been a lot. Oh, please excuse the shaky camera. Okay, let's go on. The next one is A Man and His Cat by Umi Sakurai. This is a manga series about a man who has a cat. It's just really cute, and the cat is really cute and thinks really cute thoughts, and it speaks but not to its owner, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so cute. And the main character, the man, sort of gets awoken from his depression by this cat and finds a different sort of side of himself, and it's just very cute. Oh no. Oh no. I did a bad job because I didn't want to shake the camera. I guess you'll just have to hold on tight and do some more shaking. Okay, maybe. So yeah, that series is really, really cute, and I enjoyed it a lot. And now we get into the slightly more spicy books, shall you say. I do read romances and other books with quite like explicit sex scenes and things like that. So the upcoming ones are definitely in that category. So just be warned. The first one is Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta, which I think I've talked about on this channel before. The concept is just so weird and stupid, but the romance is actually really sweet and really cute, and like I really enjoy it. I've reread it several times. But it's a fantasy world where how do I say this without YouTube thinking I'm weird? Where the morning glory of minotaurs is useful in the pharmaceutical realm. And so they've made a farm, and I don't know, how do I even yeah, well, the concept is really weird. The main character meets a very cute minotaur guy at her new job, and the fun thing about these books is, like, the books by this author, is that they're sort of self-aware. The main character keeps thinking, what on earth is this job that I'm doing? Which makes it even funnier. And, like, she keeps, like, fantasizing when she's not with him, and that's really fun as well. I don't read many books where the main character does fantasizing. So that's fun. But yeah, it's I think you need to look this up because I don't think I can actually say any of the words that I need to say to explain the concept of this book. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. The next book is Claiming's Tales and Other Alien Artifacts, which is a sci-fi romance, kind of, by Gala. It's about a linguist who goes to a planet with humanoid aliens with a completely different culture than the human culture, and, like, very different basic ideas of community and stuff like that. And there's fun things that happen. I don't know. He has, like, a really good relationship with the main character in this book, and they, like, it's a lot about breaking down cultural barriers, which I find really fascinating. Like, learning new cultures, and, like, that's one of the things that I feel like sci-fi can do really well, is explore, like, shine a mirror back at humans by inventing a culture that's definitely not like humans, and then having humans react to that. And that's what I feel like this series. So this book is the first in a series that's called, I think, just Claimings. And it does it really well. Some of the tropes are submission, like submission and dominance, that kind of thing. But also just, yeah, culture and culture clashes and that kind of thing. There are some, like, the main character is dealing with some trauma from his previous life. So there is some, like, mention and working through trauma. But yeah, I find it really good, and I keep rereading this series. And then the last title, where I'm going to, so the title is really long and has, like, a parenthesis in it. I think I'm going to drop the parenthesis in case YouTube finds it racy. But yeah, it's How My Boring Life Was Completely Derailed by Two Big Blue Alien Dudes from Outer Space. This is basically an erotic novella, and it's really fun. It's body positive. It's pleasure focused for the woman. It's lovely, and there's choice, and there's, like, freedom, and it's just cute and nice and hot. So highly recommend if you need a book that will make you hot. Flustered, I guess, this one. So then the name of the author is M.L. Eliza, which I think is a pen name. A lot of romance, and especially, like, sci-fi romance authors have pen names. So yeah, that was it from 2022. I had a nice reading year in 2022. I enjoyed lots of different things, as you heard, like nonfiction, poetry, manga, and romance. And other stuff as well that didn't make the top list. So yeah, if you're curious about any of this, just ask in the comments. I'm sorry I was all like flustered and weird about talking about these books, but I just don't want to be like get community guideline strikes or anything. I don't actually know if I would get it, but there is a sort of weird, what shall I say, purity culture online, which where the guidelines are very strict on a lot of things. So I'm just trying to keep within that. But anyway, let's move on to the best books I read in 2023. So these are all audiobooks. I think I read one paper book. So these are all audiobooks. And I really enjoyed all of them. So the one that's on the tippy top is the Last Binding series. It's written by Freya Marske and it's a trilogy. I still haven't finished the last book in the trilogy, but I have read the first two ones. Each book has a romance, an LGBT romance, and also is a part of a bigger plot to save the world, basically. So I've described especially the first book as queer Harry Potter for adults, which it's just the feeling that I get. So the main character in the first book has never heard about magic, is introduced to magic, and sort of it was here all along kind of thing, and then has to help save the world, basically. So it feels, the vibe is sort of similar, but it's for adults and much, like, for me at least, better written and with like very well-rounded characters. And I know like it's a trope or is it like a thing to say, oh, the new Harry Potter, but this, yeah, it just gave me the vibes, the happy, warm vibes that I had the first time I read the Harry Potter books. So yeah, that's where it sort of ends. I feel like, yeah, the characters are really good and their relationship is very believable and it's very cute, really. And of course, yeah, they have to save the world and it's a high stakes and it's fun, but the stakes aren't so high that I couldn't sleep at night, basically. It's a like good medium sort of pace and stuff. So I highly recommend that series. It's finished. Don't spoil me for the last book because I still have to read it. But yeah, it's finalized, and so you can read the entire trilogy. The next book on my list is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Being the weirdo hipster that I am, I was like, oh no, too many people like this book, can't read it. But then I gave in, which I'm glad I did, because it was cute and I enjoyed it. And I really like when authors write about authors, there's some like realism in that. So this is a book about authors and basically a genre swap challenge between two authors, and it's really fun. And there's romance, and it's cute, and I love it. The next book on my series that's on my list is Gathering Moss by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is a book I read a lot while going for walks when I was first having vision problems, and I went for walks in the forest where there's a lot of moss. And this is a book about moss, but also about culture and about just tying sort of life lessons from moss into our daily lives, which was really good. It's partly memoir, partly science, popular science, partly like a life lessons book. It's so good and so calm. Like, it's read by the author, and her voice is just so calm and nice. So I really, really enjoyed that and read it as sort of a low point, and really helped me through. So I recommend that book. It's usually, as far as I can see, it's usually a part of Audible Plus. So like the free books you get as part of your Audible payment if you're on Audible. So you can check it out there. The next book is probably my favorite book that I read all 2023, which is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. It's a really cute, like, feel-good, found family kind of book about witches and whether they should like questioning the status quo and finding a life to live, and being true to yourself and that kind of thing, as well as some romance. So it was very cute. But yeah, it's such a lovely sort of warm hug of a book. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think I read it in the autumn, so right when it was rainy and sort of around Halloween, and it was just perfect, and I really, really enjoyed it. I can add that I did give it to Mum for Christmas, and she really, really liked it as well. And we often don't overlap in our reading tastes. So, I mean, that's a plus in the book for this book. The next book is a book that made me cry. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. It's a cozy book that's also about death, but also romance and figuring out yourself. There's pet drama going on, in case you could hear that. It's a really, really good book about figuring out who you are and who you can be for people around you. And it's just really good. And I really enjoyed it. And I cried. Of course I cried. Of course. TJ Klune is a master at making me cry, in a good way, I guess. So the last book that I have on my list is Witches Abroad by Terry Pratchett. I really love Terry Pratchett's books. I can't like I don't have the mental capacity to read them like one after the other and just like speed through the whole Discworld series or anything, but I can do like one every so often. And I found Witches Abroad on an audiobook service, and I listened to it, and it was lovely. Basically, British witches go to France and are dismayed that France is French, except it's not France because it's fantasy, but it's very that kind of thing, and it's quite fun. Yeah, I really enjoy the way Terry Pratchett takes tropes and then turns them on their head, and pokes fun at like fairy tales and that kind of thing. So that's really like enjoyable, but also needs some mental focus, because yeah, I don't have like, I don't know. I read for entertainment, and I don't usually read heavy stuff. Like sometimes I do, but I usually don't have a lot of mental capacity for what I'm reading, and so I tend to stay with the slightly simpler books. Yeah. I guess that's actually it. That's all the books that I wanted to talk about that were my like favorites from 2022 and 2023. So far in 2024, I've read a book series that I think will become one of my all-time favorites. I'm pretty sure it's called the Tinkered Star Songs, or just Tinkered Star Song. It's a series by Gail Carriger about basically, what is it? I think she's described it as K-pop in space. Basically, I don't. I'm not quite sure, but there's something like that. It's not like, the concept sounds quite silly, and then the actual story is very heartfelt and really good, and the audiobooks were really good as well. Oh, we have a Kuroi. Do you want cuddles? Do you want cuddles? You want to be a baby? Hi. Hi. Baby. Hello. Hi. Bonus cat content. So the dog that you heard barking barked at Kuroi when he was coming in. Of course he did. And now Kuroi has been eating and drinking and getting cuddles. And then he'll likely go out again. Is that it? You done? Okay. Bye-bye. So yeah, I've now nalbound a fair bit, and I've told you that my favorite books from the past couple of years. I realized that this is a lot, like there have been a lot of titles in this video with a lot of like with not a lot of visuals or anything. Like I haven't shown any covers or anything, but I'll write all the titles in the description so you can easily find them. I'll try at least to write them down, and then yeah, you can have a look and ask me any questions you might have Or if you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them, if they were among your favorites as well. This is a video that I've been putting off, so I hope it was worth the wait, I guess. I don't know. This, like, it's a slightly different format than I've done earlier years. I've definitely not filmed null-binding while talking about this, but I thought I would give it a go. And I did, like, get some done on these socks, so that's good. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!